Welcome to the Lazy Unlock channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you as always for your subscription and welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a little snippet of how I retie the back of my locks. In the first video series, you saw I showed you what the front of my hair looked like after it was retied. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit of a snippet of the back on what I do. I don't use a mirror. I never use a mirror. I always just go through and feel through and do what I gotta do. I feel like it's just easier for me because I get confused with the mirror, like, okay, my hand is here and then the mirror is showing me something else, so I kind of get confused. I just like to go off of my tactile sensations in my hands and my fingers, and it works perfectly fine. So definitely stay tuned and I'll show you how I retighten the back of my hair mirrorless, and let's just get to it. So the first thing I like to do is I like to divide my hair into big chunks. Here you can see I have about 4 or 5 big chunks that I'm gonna further divide as I go into each section and work on my interlocking process. And I like to do this just because I do have a lot of hair and this just makes everything seem a lot less intimidating. At this point, I will also put on some music, or I got lucky here. I have friends that will call me and hit me up. So this helps a lot because talking on the phone just makes the time go by so much faster. So here I'm setting up and getting ready to actually begin my interlocking process on the back of my hair. I have sectioned off the section that I'm going to be working on with clips. I usually don't use clips. I'm going to explain why in a second, but for the purposes of this video, I did use clips to border off the area that I'll be interlocking, or the locks that I'll be interlocking, just so you all can kind of zoom in and see what I'm doing. So once I do that, I then proceed to do a slight retwist on all the locks that's in that section. And the reason why I do this is because it helps to prevent me snagging stray hairs from the adjacent locks around the lock that I'm working on. It really does help to kind of stop that from happening, because if you self-retie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like 1 or 2 stray hairs that would just get caught, and it's a hassle because then you have to worry about cutting it or pulling it out. And just to do that, this makes it a lot easier and simple, at least for me. So once I've done that, I then go on and isolate the lock that I'm going to be retightening. I take the lock out and then I begin to thread my lock through the eye of the interlocking tool, as you see here, and then I begin my rotation. I use a 2-point rotation simply because it's faster and easier for me. I don't get caught up in rotations too much. I know there's a 3-point rotation, 4-point rotation, reverse 4 pattern rotation. I don't get caught up in that. I just like to do what I need to do to get the job done. Now here, as you can see, the reason why I don't like to use clips is because the lock can sometimes get caught on the clip's end and it just gets very annoying. I hope you saw that, but it just kind of caught like a ring around the clip and it gets annoying. So I really don't like to use clips. So here I'm switching out my old locker tool to my homemade interlocking tool because this lock was just a better candidate for the homemade interlocking tool. And I do this often. I will switch between my old locker tool and my homemade interlocking tool for several reasons. One of the main reasons is that my homemade interlocking tool has a point, and the point serves very well in getting through my new growth, whereas the old locker tool has like a blunted end. And this interlocking tool, like, it never fails me. It never fails me. It works great and I use it often, even though I have some professional locking tools. So here I'm going through, I'm doing my 2-point rotation. Like I explained before, my arms is getting tired, but I'm muscling through. I also want to make mention that I do use another interlocking method or interlocking technique on my locks, preferably on my smaller locks. I call it the rake and comb method, and it's an interesting technique because it has nothing to do with any type of rotation. I'm going to go into this in another video and explain exactly how to do this, but for the meantime, this is it. This is how I interlock the back of my hair. Alright, so that about wraps it up. We've come to the end of the video. As you saw, I retightened my hair in the back without using any mirrors. It wasn't just for the camera. That's literally how I do it. The only thing is, because I was filming, I was put like in an awkward position to have to like keep my back up straight and making sure that the back of my head was always in the frame. But if the camera wasn't here, trust me, I'll just be on my couch or I'll be sitting down and I'll just get in any comfortable position that I can to make sure that I don't tire out my arms, because my arms is getting really tired, you know, just being up straight, like making sure that everything was perfect. But if the camera wasn't here, I would just be really going through it without really taking stops. But yeah, as you saw, I just separate my locks with clips. I twist them to isolate them completely. Then I go between my Araji O-Locker tool and my homemade tool that I made when I first became locked, and I just use them both accordingly, depending on how I feel, depending on the new growth, depending on a lot of things. But both of them definitely plays its part in my interlock process, especially in the back of my head. So that's it. I'm gonna continue to work on this big head of mine, and I'm gonna continue to get this done. It's been almost 1 year. Can you believe? Almost 1 year. I'm finally doing this after 1 year. So the next video is gonna be my grand reveal on what my hair looks like after I've finally retightened everything. I might come back, I might give y'all a little style, I don't know, we'll see. But make sure, if you want to catch that video, subscribe to the channel and also turn on the bell notification so you know when I drop and upload the video. Also keep in mind, I do have a special announcement, especially if you are a subscriber. You don't want to miss that final reveal video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and until then, you all definitely take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.